motivated, being ahead. She wakes up early, makes it out of bed.
Okay, so this is actually really good timing. Commercial agency is being communicative with people. I've just made a call to a guy I met only recently. We tried to do a deal. He was selling a building. I wanted to help a client buy the building. He unfortunately ended up with a better offer than my client's offer. Took their offer, obviously, as you'd expect, and unfortunately, that was probably 6 months ago, and now the deal has just fallen through. Literally last couple of days, I think. I happened to phone him this morning just for a catch up and say, look, what's going on? Is there anything else that's for sale? How's that current sale going? He said to me, yeah, actually good timing. The buyer has literally just pulled out, so there's an opportunity for my client to step back in. So good timing. I'm going to now phone my client, give him the news that that building is back available. There's probably going to be some slight disparity in figures. I think my client offered 1.1, the building was under offer at 1.4. Obviously I'm not going to be saying in this what the building was, so I can say what the numbers are because they won't really mean anything without the context of the actual building. And I think we're going to try and end up agreeing something like 1.2. So I've now got to phone my client, see if he's happy to pay 1.2 instead of the 1.1 they were previously happy to pay, just to get the building secured. At the moment it's just an office building and my clients are going to convert it to flats. Check this out, what a view. I mean, it's not exactly a superb day, but hello. Good news. The buyer has pulled out. Shock, horror. Can you believe it? They were under offer at 1.4 million and the agent has told me that he thinks 1.2 would get it. They really do not want to have to go back to the market.
Oh, I'm happy to hear. That's good news. I like when things come back to the market.
We thought that might happen. Yep, that's great. Okay, cheers. Bye, bye, bye. Bye. Okay, that was quite interesting. They are my absolute favourite deals to do. So I'll probably be able to put in, you could tell from his reaction that he was pleased that that building's come back around. Turn and face the sun. Oh. They are absolutely undoubtedly my favourite deals to do because the vendor doesn't want to have to go back to the market. What often happens in this situation is whoever was second or third or whoever's best placed at the time to jump in, swoop in and buy it for the same price so that it avoids the hassle of having to go back to the market. That is a really nice deal. Can't really say much more than that. Obviously, I don't want to start talking about specific buildings given that you know the numbers. Positive news, I'll probably hear from them. It's currently 6:10, so I expect to hear from those guys in the next couple of hours. They tend to work into the evenings. And letting me know if they're there to buy it at that price. Let's see, fingers crossed. Okay, let's see if we can get this done. This could be the first deal we do on the channel. I've got to call the agent back. I'm not sure how I'm gonna do this quite yet. Each thing is I'll give the price and I'll give the county, but I probably won't be able to be any more specific than that just because obviously clients, buyers, sellers, whoever they are, they don't want their private business being talked about online. I can talk about it as long as nobody knows which buildings they are. Some people watching will be able to work it out because they're involved in the deal, but yeah, generally it will be the case that nobody can really work it out. Let's see what he's got to say. My client's at 1.1, they were under offer at 1.4. He says they need 1.2. And my client, I'm going to tell him my client still is only at 1.1. The market's just not that good for flats at the moment. 1 and 2 bedroom flat market. pick up the phone. That's not leaving a message. Do you think there's a chance or not?
I want to get the building away.
I sent you a full offer letter, but I can send you a new one if you like. Good, thanks.
Yeah.
See you, bye. Let's see.
Anthony works in the grocery store, saving his pennies for someday. Mama Leone left a note on the door. She said, "Sonny, move out."
In his mind, he's still 400k away from where he wants to be. So, and you know what vendors are like. To them, it looks like they've come down and the buyer's not willing to come up and reach and kind of meet them in the middle. Look, I've done the classic thing of I can probably push my client up another 100, maybe more than that, but I said to him certainly not beyond 5.25. The short answer is an increased bid in writing would definitely help, but of course I'm going to say that because I want to do the deal. Appreciate it. Cheers. Thanks. Bye. Bye. So that was a client of mine that I've worked with for, I don't know, since I first joined Savills. I've probably worked with him for 7 or 8 years overall total. We've done a handful of deals together. When you've had relationships for 7, 8 years, longer for lots of people, 10 years, and you've been paid by people, you can trust each other. Your client knows how you work. You understand how your client works, and the relationship works. You can almost do everything on a trust basis. That's how I work with my clients. I say this to people all the time, and I think I may have mentioned this in previous videos, and people say that is so risky, it's so stupid, but I don't ever have terms of business with clients. So I just have an agreement that you will pay X percentage upon completion of the deal. And my view is if you don't trust somebody to pay you once that deal is completed and they don't see the future value in you helping them out, doing deals with them, they're probably not the best client in the first place. So yeah, I may be pretty unusual in that regard. I work on very much on a trust basis with clients because that's how I like to do it. If I come unstuck, I'll let you know and you can do it differently.
Somewhere far away from home, pockets empty, wallet gone. The sun is streaming all on down in my face. Laying down on someone's bed, a girl that I had hardly met. My head is spinning like I've been out days. Now you're waking up to lying next to me in your room. Now I'm quite used to someone so new. Did you catch my name? Yeah,
Really frustrating. And if you're watching this, it's going to sound like I'm blaming you. I'm not. I understand how difficult that situation is when you're with certain clients, but a friend of mine called me and said we can get a deal done at this level. Sellers changed their aspirations slightly. They're now wanting to put the building on the market, but my client's got an opportunity to buy the building before it goes to market. This is the price. This is where you need to be. Can you get to that level? So I called my client, said, look, we're ready to go. This is the price. Can you send me an offer? He sent me an offer 2 hours later, maybe not even as much as that, at exactly the asking price. So deal secured. And this is just what happens in the market. This is just how, this is not a negative reflection on anyone involved. This is why starting a commercial property agency can be so difficult, because you think you've got this deal agreed and it's all looking great, and then 2 days later his client hasn't changed their mind, but they're just very slow with providing information, and it makes everybody a bit nervy because you think you've got this deal agreed and then 2 days later you've heard nothing, and actually you haven't had the information you thought you were going to have because sellers being slow. Very frustrating. So I need to update them now. Clients just asked me for an update on WhatsApp. I'm going to send them a voice note. Hi. Sorry I haven't been in touch. This is so frustrating, honestly. I don't want to annoy. I don't want to keep sending him WhatsApps and calling him. I know he wants to do this deal with us. He is just at the mercy of his client, unfortunately, who is being slow. The main thing I want is confirmation that we're ready to go at the figure we all spoke about. So I'm working on it. I'm sorry it's not been as seamless as I thought it might be when I first got the call. I know he's working on this for us and he's doing his best. Ah, so frustrating. And sometimes it's about managing your clients as well. I don't blame my client for keeping wanting an update. If I was spending over £2.5 million on a building, I would also be wanting an update from the agents involved. This is somebody I haven't done a deal with before. That's the interesting part about this. This for me is a new client. So this is a really good opportunity to build a relationship with a new client. It's very tempting to just keep doing business with the same clients because it's easy and you can do it and you know them and they know you. And so this is the first deal we've done together, and I really want to make it seamless, do a good job. What's the response? Thanks for the update. He's a good guy, and we'll get this deal done. But it's just, yeah, you want, on your first deal with somebody, you want everything to be seamless, and when it's not, it's so frustrating. 16:32, Friday, and a deal I thought we had agreed, 2.6, is now no longer, well, it was passed up the chain and no longer agreed. So I've got to go back and try and get 2.7 from my client, which is the new deal price, which is a bit annoying. And I was talking about this one earlier, and again, it's nobody's fault. Unfortunately, these things sometimes happen. So this is where it's just about managing the client. Let's see what we can do. That was quick. How are you doing?
How are you?
Good, yeah, I'm very well, thank you. Okay, so good news that we've got the lease. The bad news is the person who gave the price was too junior to make that decision, and it got passed up to the head, and he has said he wants 2.7. It would still stand a pretty good chance of being accepted before the market. Bro, thank you. Bye. Honestly, moving goalposts. Let's try and get to actually go and see this building. Hi, bud. I just think if we get the viewing done, it just then if he does increase, then it gets us into a better position. I definitely won't get the increase without seeing the building. Look, I understand what you're saying. I know they want surety before they move forward with stuff, but I do think it's a bit unreasonable for them to ask for a fully informed offer without having viewed the building. Appreciate it. I'll get that across to you in the next 15 minutes. That went quite well. It went pretty well. We're not quite at the stage of getting a deal done yet. As I say, I thought we had a deal done. Unfortunately, the goalposts have been moved a bit last minute. As long as you communicate with your client what's happening and you're open and you're honest with them, you should be okay. So my client's reaction to that was, look, thanks for your work on it. I will go away and have a think, and you do the same, and let's go away and think a plan of action, how we might deal with this, because he wants it for the lowest price possible for obvious reasons. The seller wants to achieve the highest price possible for obvious reasons. So it's about the strategy of how do you win that negotiation? How do you get them to agree to your low price or vice versa? We're going to go away, have a think about it, and reconvene early next week. That is probably that. What's the time? It's 5 o'clock on Friday, which means nobody is really working as of now, and I think everybody is finished for the weekend, so that is probably it. I will catch you guys next week. I'm going to go for a wakeboard, which I might film. I'll put in some shots here. See you on the flip side. Let's go.
How long has it been since you last wakeboarded, James?
2 years.
Okay. You actually not a blink at the would it? Oh yeah.